So yesterday, I posted a video talking about the rumors around the upcoming OnePlus Open 2. They are absolutely insane. If you want a full deep dive into that, do go check out that video. I'll try to remember to link to it in the description down below. But there's one particular part of this rumor that I've really just been like spending time thinking about. If we take a look at this post here, you can see the body thickness is expected to be 9.x millimeters. Now, this is when the device is closed, folded over 9.x millimeters, record-breaking thinness, much better than the previous generation. This is going to be an exceptionally thin device. But numbers are just sort of abstract, right? Like it's difficult to get an idea of exactly how thick or how thin we are talking. So as I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking, what do I have as an analog that might be able to really illustrate how ridiculously thin some of these Chinese foldables are getting, how thin this OnePlus Open 2 is going to be. And of course, one of the first devices I think about is my Pixel 9 Pro Fold. Obviously, this device is very, very thin. But if we jump over to GSM Arena, you'll see that it is 10.5 millimeters thick. So we're talking about something that is even thinner than this. And I thought, well, what do I have that's thinner than this? And I had to reach for a device released all the way back in 2020, 4 years ago. Now, it's a different kind of device. It's not a folding screen device. It's a dual screen device. It's a device that when it is folded over is 9.9 millimeters. It is 4.8 millimeters when it is open. Yes, indeed, we are talking about Microsoft's Surface Duo. I don't know how many people truly understand just how ridiculous this hardware actually was, and if I'm honest, still is. While we're talking about a OnePlus Open 2 that's going to be 9.x millimeters thick, let's keep in mind this is 9.9 millimeters thick, so presumably it's going to be thinner than this, which is absolutely insane. Let's hold these two up together. You can see just how much thicker the Pixel 9 Pro Fold is. It's a very thin device, but the Surface Duo is just way, way thinner. Now, we do have to kind of ask this question, though. Is that what we want? Do we want a device that is this thin? And what kind of challenges are going to present themselves when you do that? Well, you can see on my Surface Duo that it does actually have a crack. It is, I believe, the only phone in my house right now that has any sort of a crack on it. And what happened many years ago now, this device was dropped, and strangely enough, it landed right in a vent for my central heat and air, and it went into one of those slots in the vent, and it kind of just clipped right there and cracked that glass all the way up. I actually put a clear skin on it to kind of hold everything together, and that has worked just fine. And the device itself actually functions just fine. But you may have noticed something else. It does almost to me look like the device is slightly warped. The gap is more narrow here than it is here. And if you flip it over, very common for these devices, the USB-C port has sort of self-destructed to some degree. They use this plastic material on the edges of the device, and over time, USB going in, out, it sort of broke it down, and eventually I actually lost a piece of plastic there, which is a bummer. What's my point? Well, my point is if you build this thin, you have to use really premium materials. You cannot use plastic for your side rails first and foremost. Of course, the good news is with the current OnePlus Open, they did a good job. The build quality on this is actually surprisingly good. As a device that is significantly less expensive than the Pixel 9 Pro Fold or the Z Fold devices, you would think maybe they would have skimped on that build quality, but they absolutely did not. It is very, very well made, and it is almost as thin as the Pixel 9 Pro Fold already. We'll kind of get a three-way look of these devices. So I do think that it's something that they're going to be able to pull off, but I do understand why some people do have a little bit of nervousness about going even thinner. after the Jerry Rig Everything channel was able to snap a pixel in half now, I believe 2 years running. I do get that people maybe are a little bit more paranoid than they would have been otherwise. I do see comments of people saying, well, that thin, the device is just going to snap in half. I don't know if I made a video about this or not. I can't even remember. But here's the reality. You're not going to snap the phone in half. Even if it is 9.5 millimeters, unless you put significant effort into snapping it in half, you're just not going to snap it in half. These things are still pretty darn sturdy. Now, like, not, don't put it in your pocket, in your back pocket, and sit on it or something like that. You are going to probably damage it at that point. What's going to break is more than likely that interior folding display instead of like the frame actually snapping. That's probably more likely to happen. But I don't know how much of an impact that's going to have on durability. Perceived durability might be just as important. So there is a give and take there. But at the end of the day, if you can get a device that feels as light as a normal phone, that is as thick or thin as a normal phone, but then opens up into a large tablet, I do understand why that is something that they are pursuing. And if they truly are going to be able to accomplish Surface Duo levels of thickness, that is going to be really, really impressive. Obviously, Surface Duo is not without its many, many faults, but I do think it's pretty cool that 4 years after it was released, we can still sort of use it as an analog for what the future is going to look like. It really just goes to show for me what Microsoft was doing here. Maybe had some potential. Maybe they should have kept going. Maybe they should have tried to pursue this thing even further than they did. I mean, just what an incredible, crazy, cool device that so few people ever got to hold in their hands. It still feels absolutely futuristic and insane to me. And very soon, we are going to be in North America, outside of regions that can import some of these Chinese foldables. It seems as though we're going to be holding a true folding screen device that maybe surpasses Surface Duo in terms of thickness, and that might be why, as we saw in this later rumor, why we have a customized USB-C port. Why would they need to do that? Well, because they may be literally thinner than a USB-C port, so they may need to do things to make that port not only be functional, but to make it durable enough so that you don't get this thing happening on your OnePlus Open 2. Guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about this whole pursuit of thinness in those comments down below. Subscribe for more content like this, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.